Well, I want to get started with this week's game. Should be a ton of excitement around Morgantown homecoming. Welcoming everybody back to the game this weekend. I know it's going to be a good time. It's another sellout, which we're all excited about that. Last time we played here, it was a sellout, and it was extremely festive. And when that game was over, I made reference that's huge to our football team. That's our players thrive off that. They can't say enough about how much that affects the game, affects how our players play, and our guys are excited to be back home. And the 7 o'clock kick is great. We're all happy about it. We're all thrilled. Night games in Morgantown are fun, and we look forward to hosting a top 20 Big 12 opponent in Oklahoma State, it's going to be tough. They're on a roll. They're since they changed their quarterback back going their 12th game of the year last year. They had lost a few in a row, and haven't lost since they made that switch. So he finished 2-0 last year as a true freshman, and then they've won 5 this year. So come in on a roll. Have won a bunch of games here in the last decade. Coach Gundy's done a great job of building that program to where they just continue to reload with players and coaches and continue to win games each and every year. So offensively, to stay on the subject with their quarterback, Mason Rudolph does a great job. Big kid, live arm. He's got great size. He's got great accuracy. They're averaging, almost 350 yards a game passing, so they're throwing it a good bit. Coach Gundy's always been a guy that wants to run the ball as much as they possibly can. They got 3 quality backs and a physical O-line to the point to where they're going to try to establish the run. And we're going to have something to say about that, as we did last week. Oklahoma tried to establish the run as well. We did a good job of shutting that down to the point where they had to rely on the pass game. Hopefully the same thing happens this week. They're going to try to get the run game going. Hopefully we shut that down and then do a little better job of defending the big play, which they got quality receivers that can make plays downfield. Be another good challenge for our defense. Offensively for us, going against if you look back at what our issues were against Oklahoma, I don't know how you look at this, but the issues that we had were protection in the pass game and tackles for loss in the run game. Well, you got an Oklahoma State team coming to town that leads the country in sacks and leads the country in tackles for loss. So I don't know how I feel about that as a coach. It's obviously one thing to know that that's something that we need to work on. So we're going to be working on it this week. But that 6 days later have to go out there and defend it against that. I'd prefer a little bit more time, obviously, but they do a great job up front. They got 2 great DNs, 2 big old DNs, Ogba and Bean, 6'5", 250 and 275. They're 2 great-looking defense ends that get to the quarterback. They're stout. Their front 7 is really good. They're 52. The Simmons kid, their Mike Backer is a guy that's played a lot for him, runs that defense. I've known Glenn Spencer for a long time. He puts a lot on those Mike linebackers to be the coach on the field, and this guy's as good as they've had. So 2 great corners in Peterson and Lampkin that can cover. They will get in our young kids' face like Oklahoma did, and they will challenge us. So we're going to have to do a little better job of winning at times downfield. I think we've done a pretty good job offensively of run blocking and creating yards in the run game. It's going to be another challenge to be able to do that. And then we just got to get better in protection to give our quarterback time to throw it to guys that are open. Special teams, they've always been solid, no different now. Coach Gundy's been involved with the special teams ever since I've known him, so they've done a good job. They've had a few issues on their PATs, but that same guy has won them some field goals, won them some games with field goals towards the end of the year. So quality in all aspects, good test coming to town here Saturday night. So with that, take some questions.
Dana, while you're on special teams. I was just wondering about your feelings on your kids last week and some of the same problems in the past cropped up.
Which was what?
Punt return.
Well, we're fielding it, which is fantastic. We got 2 inexperienced guys. I'll take the blame for that. We put them on the 15 to 20, and that kid kicked it about 65 yards. So they had to run backwards to go field the ball, and I thought they did a great job of it. They lost track of where they were. They'll learn from that. I thought our special teams last week was a wash. We had a huge challenge with their return game, and we kept that in check. So I consider that a wash. You know, as an offensive guy, I would prefer a little better field position. There's no question, but you know, and I said it after the game. I'm not going to use that as an excuse as an offensive guy and a play caller. I don't care where we get the ball. We need to move the ball. And to me, you know, we need to do a better job with that. That was one thing that happened that we can get corrected pretty easily.
How do you address the penalties? You were awful low in that all year.
We did, you know, and Bob, since I've been here, I don't think it's been an issue. You know, I addressed it with our team as far as, and here's one thing I say about our team. You know, we were in a situation where we were down against a really good football team in a very hostile environment, and our kids didn't quit. We went in the locker room. We were in a good place. They were attentive. We were in a good place, but they were attentive, and they didn't have their heads down. We went in and we said, you know what, this isn't good enough. Let's make some corrections and get out there and play. Our attitude was good. Our effort was good on all 3 sides the entire game. We didn't play very smart. I don't think we prepared as good as we needed to. You know, they had 2 weeks to prepare, so we were playing catch up. We need to prepare a little bit better, and we need to get out there and we need to play a little bit smarter. They had a lot of penalties too, so I think you know, there was a lot of flags flying around for whatever reason. Now that was chippy from the start. That both teams were chippy in pregame. It was a pretty rowdy environment where there was a lot of emotion. We had some guys that made a couple of mistakes when it came to that. We need to be a little bit more smart with our technique. We need to be a little bit smart with reacting to specific situations, putting our hands in the right place, and turning and going to the sideline when we're supposed to. So it's been addressed, and we will work on the technique aspect of it today in practice. We've already worked on the preparation aspect of it, and then when we get out there and play, we need to play smart.
Dana, I know yesterday I was listening when you said that this is a run-first team on the conference call. And I was wondering, when did you realize that would be the identity of this year's offensive group, and has it been more of a product of the way games have gone, or has it been more, you know, conscious?
Oh, you know, the way I call plays is when I call them and they work, we're going to keep calling them. When they don't work, we're going to call something else. So we've done a better job in the run game. That's no secret. The run pass ratio is not any different now than it's been the last 3 years. We've always tried to establish the run. I think it looks a little better than it's looked, which means we're going to keep doing that. We're going to throw the ball. I mean, you know, anybody that took what I said and you know, maybe printed something probably ought to look at exactly what we're doing. We're still going to throw the ball. I mean, that's obviously my background and what we do.
David, as you work with Skyler this week, more mental or mechanical corrections you'd like to work with him?
There is a couple of mistakes that he made that were mechanical that we can fix. You know, the mentality aspect of it is no different for the other 10 guys that are out there playing than when he is. You know, we win and produce. We lose and make mistakes as a unit. So, you know, he's not the one that needs to take the blame for a lot of the stuff that happened out there. There's some mistakes that he made that needs to get corrected. There's mistakes that our O-line made that needs to get corrected. There's mistakes that our receivers made that need to get corrected. There's mistakes that our running backs and tight ends made that need to get corrected. And all of it has to do with, what their preparation is, learn from it, move on, and get out there and play ball.
How do you go about fixing some of the pass protection issues with just, I guess, a week to do so against what is a pretty good pass rushing team?
Yeah, and again, I mean, that was one of the things that happened last week that wasn't as good as it needs to be for us to win. We played a very good team in a hostile environment that's good at defense as there's probably going to be out there this year. Oklahoma State brings a lot of the state challenges. So, again, with all kidding aside, it gives us an opportunity to be able to work on things that we need to work on to get out and play a little bit more motivated, play a little smarter with our technique. I will continue to coach and call plays as smart as I possibly can to put our guys in a position to be successful. And it needs to look a little bit better if we want to win. We were right there at the end of the third quarter in the game, made a couple critical mistakes in the fourth quarter that cost us the game. If we want to win, we can't make those mistakes in those situations.
You talking about Skylar. What did he show you on Saturday when it got tough, as far as being a quarterback and coming back and making plays and trying to get the team back?
Yeah, he doesn't get rattled. He comes to the sidelines. He's very communicative. I mean, he gets on the phones and talks with Coach Burchett and has good rapport with me and goes over to the O-line, talks to them, talks with the receivers. I mean, there's a lot of things of being the starting quarterback that need to exist that is you can't put in a stat line. And he's doing a great job with that. Very determined, hard-working young man that wants to commit. He watched the game 3 times on the way home, came in Sunday and watched it probably another 3 times. Did a good job in the run game, getting us into the right plays. There's some situations where I gear him in one direction and he's got to go with it or go a different direction with it. And he did a good job with that. Missed some throws, but again, that when you're under pressure like that, I mean, it takes a toll on it. He's got to continue to be able to settle in the pocket and trust his offensive line, put his eyes where I want him to put his eyes, and throw accurate balls.
Hey, you juggled that offensive line during the game. Are you going to set on something this week? Are you going to change things? What are you going to do there?
No, it's where we wanted to go with it. You want a starting offensive line and you want continuity, but this is we also want to save some guys and be able to play other people. I mean, that's a pretty demanding position, and if you can put other guys in the game to take some of those snaps off of our guys, I think it's beneficial not only for the long haul, but throughout the course of the game too. Right now we feel good with 6, so you're juggling it because you got you only have 6. If we had 7 or 8, then you wouldn't have to move positions at all. Pankey's pretty versatile. I've said this since day one. He can go from guard to tackle. I don't have anybody else that can do that. And Tony Mattio's a guy that can come in and play guard. So when we can move Tony from guard to guard, we can rotate 3 guards, but also kick Pankey out as well.
Dana, I know just 1 year in Stillwater on Mike Gundy's staff, but he said, hiring you was one of the smartest coaching decisions he's ever made. Looking back, what did you take away from that season down there?
Jeez, I can't remember last year, let alone 4 years ago, 5 years ago. How long was that? 6 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that was a long time ago. I had a great time there. Learned a lot. Organizational stuff with Mike is good. How to run the program from all aspects. Been fortunate to work with Kevin Sumlin and Mike Leach and Hal Mummy and some guys that I've taken bits and pieces from all those guys and developed it into what you currently see. So, I've said it numerous times. Was there for a year and it sped up my maturity process leading into being a head coach. And there's a lot of things that happened there that I still continue to do.
And you put a lot on your cornerbacks in game situations. Too much in this past game, maybe, or?
Well, we have confidence in them. There's no question about that. I mean, we have confidence in them. The nature of this defense is pressure. We feel like we need to do a lot of different things to create pressure on the quarterback. When that happens, that's less guys in coverage, and the less guys that's in coverage, the more likelihood you got to play man coverage. So we feel pretty good about those guys. They got beat a couple of times, and you know when you play against good skill, I think we'd all be pretty naive to think that that's not going to happen. I mean, you know, we knew that was going to happen. It just happened a couple of times too much. So, you know, they got to work hard to get better. Our guys do, you know, but we're going to give up plays against teams. I mean, that's going to happen. And anytime you play the caliber of the University of Oklahoma with their skill, I mean, that's going to happen. You got to have the ability to let it go and move on and not let it happen again.
Dana, what's your confidence level right now in your tackles as they move from the challenge of Striker, those guys from Oklahoma, to now Opa, that group?
You know, I good. They got, you know, that you got to really study it. I mean, our guards got beat 2 or 3 times. You know, a double team with a tight end and a fullback got beat. You know, our tackles and guards collectively got beat. You know, just as far as man for man, those tackles getting back. I mean, they improved last week, and we expect them to improve again this week.
Is a mechanical thing with Skyler? Is it? It's a broad word. I'm trying to understand it better, but does that include holding on to the ball a little bit, and also when you hold on to the ball, is it also because everything around you is collapsing, and you have to extend the play somehow, but you're also trying to tackle?
No, I mean there's technique situations with quarterbacks that we work on every single day. That's a very broad question. Not quite sure where you're going with it, but you know, there's things that we work every single day, from ball security to proper footwork to keeping 2 hands on the ball to feeling pressure and moving around in the pocket, understanding when that clock is running out and you need to get out of there the appropriate way. If it was easy, there'd be a whole lot of people playing quarterback, and it's not, you know, especially with the likes of what that front was last week. So we went out Sunday and we worked 3 or 4 aspects of quarterback play in the pocket, and we'll go out again today and work on the same stuff.
And a quarter of the way through the season, seems health-wise, you guys pretty good shape?
I feel like we're in great shape. I think a lot of that has to do with what Mike Joseph and his guys are doing downstairs, what they've done for the last couple of years, and what we focus on throughout the course of the week. You know, he's incredibly instrumental with what we're doing. Those guys come in every day and they go downstairs, and they may not have a 1-hour lifting session, but they may have a 20-minute recovery session with them. So he's doing a great job. Dave Kern's doing a great job. Our team is relatively healthy after 33% of the games, and we hope to keep that way.
And with the things, all the things that went bad in the game this week, one of the things that didn't again was Carl Joseph. Can you address just how the level he's playing at now, and I mean the way he's hitting people?
Yeah, he's doing good. You know, and you know, things are going to go wrong against the likes of University of Oklahoma, and you know, in the Big 12 we play good people. That good things are going to happen, bad things are going to happen. Again, I can't emphasize enough how happy I am with our team to come out and play the third quarter the way that they played. Going into the fourth quarter, you know, Carl got a pick, and we didn't capitalize on it offensively, and then it kind of made a couple of critical mistakes offensively to get that game from a 3, at that point it's a 10-point game, to a 17-point game, which was tough to overcome in the fourth quarter. Carl's playing well, is you know, again, the inspirational leader for our team. He studies the game, he's motivated, he's elevated his play, and he expects everybody around him to elevate their play as well. So can't say enough about how he's playing and what he brings to this football team.
David, it seems like the image of this conference has always been offense, but as you can see, everyone's asking questions about defenses in the Big 12. Do you see that things are kind of changing, or do you expect that to be the case, or has defense really in the Big 12 stepped up its game?
there's one game that had almost 200 points in it last week. So there's some teams that can score with the best of them. Two of them I think are ranked in the top 4 right now in the country that are on the horizon. With that said, I think those guys would be the first to say that you better have a defense that can get stops in critical situations to be able to win in this conference. Our defense is good as it's been since I've been here. There's no question. And it's a shame that you look at the stat sheet and you're looking at 44 points. Our defense feels like they could have held them below 24, which would have won that game. That's what counts. So if we're going to continue to elevate our game offensively to score as many as I can, or get defensively, it's about holding them to what you got to hold them to in order to win the game. When you play against some of these offenses that are coming up, Oklahoma State's one of them. You got to focus on getting some stops when you get some stops, and then obviously on the other side offensively, you got to score what you got to score in order to win. Get some of them, it looks like it might have to be 70.
Yeah, the receiver, Liddy, you recruited him, correct?
Yeah, he's a good kid, playing hard. Yeah, he's a good little player.
He's been through injuries, things like that, but the way he's played, he's been a constant for a couple of years.
He has.
He obviously is a good fit for that offense. You maybe Houston? You got to know when you were Houston, correct?
No, when I went to Oklahoma State, he was from Oklahoma City. So we watched him, and I liked him and offered him and started recruiting. He didn't play for a couple of years because of injuries, but it's worked out good for him. Good fit.